from the Katy Freeway in Houston, Texas. Toups Graphics presents an Algebra 1 Star Review Quiz. Question number 1. What relation would have a negative correlation? A. The number of cavities depends on the number of times you floss each week. B. The number of songs on your iPod depends on your grade. C. The cost of a soda depends on the size of the soda. And D. The cost of gas on a trip depends on the miles you drive. Let's first find the one that has no correlation. In choice B, the number of songs on your iPod would not affect the grade level you're in, so choice B is incorrect. Now let's find a positive correlation. In choice D, the cost of gas increases as the miles you drive increase, so that's a positive correlation. That leaves choice A and choice C. In choice C, the cost of a soda would increase as the size of the soda also increases. Choice C is a positive correlation. But in choice A, the number of cavities as that increases, the times you floss each week would decrease. So choice A would have a negative correlation. Question number 2. It is 237 miles from Houston to Dallas on Interstate 45. What inequality can be used to find T? The amount of time it would take to travel to Dallas if you drove at least R miles per hour. A. T less than or equal to 237R. B. T is greater than R over 237. C. T is less than or equal to 237 divided by R. Or D. T is greater than R to the second power. To get this answer, we need to use the formula distance equals rate times time. We also need to solve it for time. So we'll divide both sides by the quantity of R, the rate. If you divide both sides of the equation by the quantity of the rate, you would get time equals distance divided by rate. So we'll need to put the distance 237 over our rate, R. Now let's look at our answer choices. Only C has T less than or equal to 237 over R. Since we could drive at a quicker rate than R, our time would decrease as the rate increases. So C is the correct answer. The time is less than or equal to 237 over R. Question number 3. What linear inequality is equivalent to 5x minus 3y greater than 10? Is it A, y greater than 5 over 3x plus 10, B, y is greater than negative 5 over 3x plus 10 over 3, C, y is less than 5 over 3x plus 2, or D, y is less than 5 over 3x minus 10 over 3? To get the answer, we need to solve 5x minus 3y is greater than 10 for y. First, we need to subtract 5x from both sides and move the quantity of 5x from the left to the right. That makes our inequality negative 3y greater than negative 5x plus 10. Now that we have negative 3y greater than negative 5x plus 10, we need to divide each quantity by the value of the coefficient of negative 3. The key to getting the problem right, remember when you divide by a negative, your inequality will flip. Our negative 3 won't divide into negative 5 or 10, so we'll simplify our answer. Negative 5 divided by negative 3 would be a positive 5 over 3x, and a positive 10 divided by negative 3 would be a minus 10 over 3. So our answer would be y less than 5 over 3x minus 10 over 3, which would match answer choice D. The Pentagon T Toups Graphics Algebra 1 Star Quiz will continue after a word from our sponsors. The Algebra 1 Always Believe Star Quiz is sponsored by the constant of variation. Let's say you take the slope-intercept form of an equation y equal mx plus b and let b equal 0. You can rewrite the equation as y equal kx, where the variable k is the constant of variation. If you were to graph y equal kx, you would draw a line that goes to the origin. So k is also the slope of a line that goes to the origin. Let's take the ordered pairs of a line that go through the origin. They would have direct variation. The constant of variation would be y over x. The constant of variation means that we could take any y and divide it by x and get the same quotient. Our first ordered pair would be 3 over 4. Now let's try 6 over 8. If you were to simplify 6 over 8, you would get 3/4. Likewise, 9 over 12 would simplify to 3/4. 12 over 16 would be 3/4. And 15 over 20 would be 3/4. The constant of variation. It gives a proportional relationship for power. The Algebra 1 Always Believe Star Quiz continues as we drive down the expanse of concrete that is the Katy Freeway. Question number 4. The following table shows the number of plates to the total weight in a weightlifting gym. Based on this information, which statement is true? A. The bar weighs 35 pounds with no plates. B. The bar weighs 70 pounds with no plates. C. The bar weighs 45 pounds with no plates. Or D. The bar weighs 25 pounds with no plates. To get this answer, we need to find the weight per plate. The weight per plate would also be the slope of our linear equation. Remember, to find the slope, you'll subtract 2 quantities of y over the 2 corresponding quantities of x. In this example, we'll subtract 185 and 115 for our y quantities and 4 and 2 for our x quantities. The difference of 185 and 115 is 70. The difference of 4 and 2 is 2. That means we have 35 pounds per plate. Now then, to find the weight of the bar, we're going to look at our first ratio of 2 and 115. We know that 2 plates has a total weight of 115 pounds. If you were to multiply 2 times 35, the pound of each weight, you would only get 70 pounds. But the total weight of the 2 plates and the bar is 115. So we need to find the difference of 115 and 70. You would get 45. So the bar weighs 45 pounds with no weights. Let's look at our answer choices. If you look at the answer choices, the choice would match up to choice C. The bar weighs 45 pounds with no plates. Question number 5. What is the range of the function shown to the right? Is it A, -7, -2, 0, 5, B, -9, -4, and -1, C, -9, -7, -4, -2, -1, 0, and 5, or is it D, the quantity of -1? To get this answer, let's review what the domain, the x quantity, and the range, the y quantity, represent. Remember that the domain is the input value of a function, while the range is the output value of the function. Also remember that the domain can be called the independent quantity, and the range can be called the dependent quantity. In our function diagram, the x quantities on the left are the input, while the f of x or y quantities are the output. Since the output quantity matches up to the f of x quantity, our range would be in the right circle of our function mapping. That means the range would equal to -9, -4, and -1, which is choice B. Choice B, -9, -4, -1, is the range of the function shown to the right. Question number 6. What does the slope of this line represent? A, the number of hours worked it takes to earn $320. B, the amount of money earned per hour. C, the amount earned for 40 hours. Or D, the number of hours worked per dollar earned. To get this answer, we need to remember that slope is rise over run, or the y quantity over the x quantity. In this problem, the y quantity, or y-axis, is represented by the amount earned, or dollars. If you look at the x-axis, the x quantity represents timed work, which is in hours. Looking at our y quantities and x quantities, our slope would be represented by dollars per hours. If you look at the answer choices, the correct answer choice would be B, the amount of money earned per hour. The Pentagon team, Toups Graphics, always believe Algebra I Star Quiz is sponsored by Domain. Do you want to know what the input value of a function is? You need to know the domain. And by standard notation. Do you need to know the x and y intercepts of a line? You need to write the line in standard notation. Now it's time for a cross-curriculum 8th grade history commercial break. Toups Graphics presents Where's Andrew? The first shot of the Civil War was fired at this fort. Answer: Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina. This city, famous for its 3 rivers, is where the Ohio River begins. Answer: Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Toups Graphics always believe Algebra I Star Quiz continues. Problem number 7. A rectangle has a perimeter of 42 centimeters. The length of the rectangle is x plus 4, and the width is 2x minus 7. What are the dimensions of the rectangle? To get this answer, we must first draw a rectangle. After you draw the rectangle, label the two lengths with x plus 4, and label the two widths with 2x minus 7. Since we know that the perimeter is 42, if we add up all of the dimensions of the rectangle, the sum would be 42. That gives us x plus 4 plus x plus 4 plus 2x minus 7 plus 2x minus 7 equals 42. The next step would be to combine like terms. We need to add up the x quantities and the constants. If you combine the x, the 2x, and the 2x, you would get 6x. Likewise, if you combine 4, negative 7, and negative 7, you would get negative 6. So now our equation is simplified to 6x minus 6 equals 42. Now that our left-hand side has one constant and one variable, we need to move the constant to the right. So we'll add a quantity of positive 6 to both sides. The 6's on the left would eliminate out, combining to 0. Meanwhile, 42 plus 6 is 48. Our equation is now 6x equals 48. And lastly, to solve an equation, the last step would be to divide the coefficient. We need to divide both sides by the quantity of 6. 48 divided by 6 would be 8. So the quantity of x would equal to 8. Now that we know that the quantity of x is equal to 8, we can substitute it into the length of 2x plus 4 and the width of 2x minus 7. If you substitute 8 in for x, the x plus 4 becomes 8 plus 4, and the 2x minus 7 becomes 2 times 8 minus 7. If you simplify 8 plus 4, you get 12, and 2 times 8 minus 7 would be 9. So our answer would be the length is 12 and the width is 9. If you look at the above choices in the problem, the answer would be D. The length would be 12 and the width would be 9. Question number 8. Which graph shows a function with a domain of all real numbers greater than 7? To get this answer, you need to remember that the domain are the quantities on the x-axis. We want the graph that shows all quantities on the x-axis greater than 7. By looking at the answer choices, 2 of the answer choices have arrows that go up and down. Those are quantities on the y-axis, not the x-axis. So choice B and choice D are incorrect. That leaves choice A and C. Only in choice A does the arrow start at the 7 and go to the right. So choice A would be the correct answer. Question number 9. The graph of y equal 9x plus 4 is translated 4 units up. Which equation describes the new graph? A, y equals 9x plus 8. B, y equals 13x plus 4. C, y equals 13x plus 8. Or D, y equals 4x plus 4. When a line is translated, it moves up and down the y-axis. So a translation changes the y-intercept of a linear equation. Since we are going to translate this 4 units up, let's take our original equation, 9x plus 4, and add 4 to the y-intercept. That would leave us with the equation 9x plus 8. So our new equation would be y equal 9x plus 8, or choice A. Today's Algebra 1 STAAR test is sponsored by the variable m. Do you want to represent the slope of a line? You need the variable m. Time for a commercial break. Are you having trouble with a problem on the STAAR test? You need the Pentagon T-Eraser. It works in reverse. The Pentagon T-Eraser. it will give you more power to do your best on the STAAR test. Just apply the Pentagon T-Eraser on a griddable answer grid and watch the answer magically appear. The Pentagon T-Eraser. It will help you always believe.
But wait, there's more!
If you order now, you'll get the Pentagon T tote bag. It will help you accessorize any outfit so that you will always believe. The Pentagon T-Eraser and tote bag can be yours for the low price of 4/5 of $100. Call 1-888-PASS-STAR. That's 1-888-PASS-STAR. The Algebra 1 Always Believe STAAR Quiz, produced by Toups Graphics, continues as we finish up driving down the Katy Freeway into downtown Houston. Question number 10. What is the range of the function f of x equals 3x to the second power plus 2 if the domain is -3, 0, and 4? Is it A, 29, 2, and 14, B, -25, 2, and 19, C, -3, 0, and 4, or D, 29, 2, and 50? To do this, you need to remember that the domain is your input quantity, while the range is equal to your output quantity. You also need to remember that the domain is your x variable and the range is your y variable. In this problem, they give us our domain of -3, 0, and 4. We will input those into the function and the answers will be the output or the range. Using your calculators, you can set up the following problems, inputting -3, 0, and 4 into the function. Make sure you input the parentheses correctly on your calculator. Your answer should be 29, 2, and 50. That matches up to choice D, so the answer is D, 29, 2, and 50. Question number 11. Bubba Bob has $40. It costs $8 each day for a bus ticket. This situation can be represented by y equal 40 minus 8x, where x equals the number of days. What would the coordinates of the x-intercept be? A, 0, 5, B, 0, 40, C, -8, 0, or D, 5, 0. To get this answer, we need to remember that the x-intercept will have a 0 in its y-coordinate spot. That means in our linear equation, we'll replace the y variable with a 0. Now we need to solve for the variable of x, so we'll move the -8x quantity to the left by adding 8x to both sides. That will make our equation now read 8x equals 40. Now if you divide both sides by 8, you'll get that the x variable equals to 5. That means when the y variable is equal to 0, x would be 5. So the coordinate would be 5, 0, or choice D. The Algebra 1 Always Believe STAAR Quiz has been produced by Toups Graphics. Always believe. Remember, those that believe will succeed.